Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 Origin Continent based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng was filled with joy, as he had resonated with 73 types of world-level primordial bloodlines, although only 15 of them had over 70% comprehension. Yet for the rest, he had also comprehended at least 40 to 50%. In the process of comprehending, completing secret patterns, and comparing bloodlines, each world-level primordial bloodline brought many gains to Luo Feng. Feeling the slow yet steady progress, Luo Feng naturally felt joyful. As long as he doesn't stop, he will inevitably go farther and farther. I understand why the physical body of a world-level primordial can be so immense, Luo Feng murmured softly. The physical body of a world-level primordial life far exceeds high-level primordial. It has already reached about 1% of a normal source world. One must know that the physical body of a primordial ancestor, at an average level, is only about 1/10 of a normal source world. The main difference between the two lies in the grasp of power levels. The difference in physical bodies has become quite small. At the world-level primordial stage, the physical body system is already quite perfect. In Luo Feng's mind, the physical body system gradually took shape, formed by absorbing the life and destruction mysteries of countless world-level primordial bloodlines. Luo Feng's original accumulation was mainly in the mind consciousness system, life system, destruction system, and primordial power system. These four parts are the foundation for the future construction of the complete primordial life and death Tao. And now Luo Feng was gradually exploring the physical body system, which was also the fifth part. The primordial life and death Tao I pursue seeks the ultimate enormous life form. Therefore, the physical body system is very important to me. Luo Feng began to organize the remaining more than 2,000 world-level primordial bloodlines. From easy to difficult, he gradually comprehended them one by one. With the previous accumulation of 73 world-level primordial bloodlines, the difficulty of comprehension was somewhat reduced for Luo Feng. Among the 2,729 world-level primordial bloodlines, Luo Feng patiently comprehended each one. After comprehending all once, he would comprehend them a second time, a third time. Again and again. Each time, Luo Feng would have new gains. With the ever-deepening accumulation, new gains are always assured. No one knows how much time has passed. It's about time. No matter how much I comprehend these world-level primordial bloodlines, the gains have become negligible. Luo Feng finally stopped, after comprehending over 30 times. He treasures these world-level primordial bloodlines and corpse materials dearly, as it was under the collection of the Starlight Lord that he had the chance to comprehend freely. So he was extremely patient in comprehending them repeatedly. The three categories of life, destruction, and the combination of life and death. Among them, I have comprehended all low-level primordial bloodlines and high-level primordial bloodlines. I have comprehended 43 kinds of world-level primordial bloodlines. The others have also been comprehended several times, making it hard to have any significant new gains. Luo Feng's eyes burned with intense fervor. Now, it's time to comprehend ancestor-level corpse materials. Luo Feng was introduced to the land of origin, and did not attempt to create the primordial life and death Tao, but continued to accumulate. From Luo Feng's perspective, if he couldn't even understand the primordial ancestor-level materials, on what basis could he construct the primordial life and death Tao? To comprehend primordial ancestor-level materials, one must try to understand low-level, high-level, and world-level primordial bloodlines as much as possible. I have been in seclusion for a full 3,500,000,000 epochs, since coming to the land of origin, finally beginning to comprehend ancestor-level materials. In the quiet room, Luo Feng took a sip of fruit wine, which he exchanged for reward points, 100,000 reward points for 1 unit, enough for Luofeng's cultivation needs for 10 billion epochs, with excellent effects. In the land of origin, I need to observe ancestor-level materials, Luofeng said. Up to this point, the cultivator camp has slain a total of 17 primordial ancestors. Coupled with the ancestor-level corpse materials purchased by the cultivator camp and other strong beings, there are a total of 31 ancestor-level corpse materials. Luofeng listened, shocked. The lords on our side are indeed formidable, having killed a total of 17 primordial ancestors. It can also be seen that the primordial ancestors have some other causes of death. In the infinite primordial space, there are indeed many dangers. Are there any life secret patterns or destruction secret patterns exceeding 70%? Luofeng inquired. No, the land of origin responded. Luofeng was taken aback. He had initially selected more than 2,000 kinds of world-level primordial bloodlines, all exceeding 70% in combined life and destruction. Yet, in the ancestor-level corpse materials, none could be selected. How about a cumulative total exceeding 60%? No, the land of origin responded again. Luofeng frowned, sensing something was amiss. Send me all the available intelligence on the 31 ancestor materials that I have access to, Luofeng instructed. Understood. Soon, detailed intelligence on the 31 deceased ancestors, and much material information, was transmitted to Luofeng. Upon reading, Luofeng discovered the life secret pattern ratio of these deceased primordial ancestors was at best about 39%. The corpse material of the Wanxing ancestor had a life secret pattern of about 34%, already ranking second. Their life secret patterns are generally low. Perhaps this is one of the reasons for their demise. After all, Luofeng was pursuing the Tao of life and death, primarily based on life. He understood that if life secret patterns were sufficiently high, they would have strong life-preserving capabilities. Let's start comprehending, beginning with the Wanxing ancestor corpse material. The Wanxing ancestor, whose life secret pattern ranks second among the 31 ancestors, was ultimately the source of the Star Tower blood scale. Luofeng's cultivation path was guided by it. Naturally, it was the most compatible choice, being the first he selected. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The land of origin. Those primordial ancestors have taken action. The voice of the Starlight Lord rang in the ears of the other 6 lords. They've only recuperated for 500 epochs, and now they're attacking again. Some of them likely haven't fully recovered yet. A group of over 70 primordial ancestors, on one side, and only 7 lords on the other. Yet, those lords grasp the Tao at the primordial level, the essence of the highest level power, and some of their moves are simply unstoppable. Once initiated, they are bound to hit. Even after layers of weakening, they still penetrate the bodies of those ancestors. To completely expel the penetration of a lord's power is exceedingly difficult. 500 epochs have passed, yet several ancestors still haven't fully recovered. These primordial ancestors are truly desperate. Originally the foremost power in the infinite primordial space, they lost several ancestors in battles against us, and now they are anxious, wanting to sever the cultivator camp's soil completely. The lords are all aware of this. In a vast territory, countless source worlds, a continuous emergence of cultivator geniuses is possible. Currently, there are 7 lords. In the future, there might be 8 or even 9 lords. If they conquer all territories, all source worlds will become their food, and they could even periodically wipe out the creatures within source worlds. No more successors. Only 7 lords. They are just a relatively strong force within the infinite primordial space. They cannot shake the status of the innate primordial life camp. The countless number of innate primordial life will also continuously produce ancestors. Let's go. set out. Though they had only rested for 500 epochs, and carried some fatigue, the seven lords still set out together, under the leadership of Starlight Lord, swiftly traversing the distant spacetime to intercept the batch of moving ancestors. It's a pity, the younger cultivators are too weak, none of them show any hope of becoming a lord. Yuan, as the first ancestor of the cultivator camp, had poured infinite effort into the cultivator territory. Each fall of a world group felt like cutting flesh from his heart. He hoped for a turning point. Hope for the emergence of new lords. In recent epochs, they have invested massive resources, allowing even some half-primordial cultivators, who have mastered 2 DAOs to receive abundant resources. Yet the result still shows no hope for new lords emerging. This Luo Feng has truly been secluded for over 5 billion epochs, able to comprehend 43 types of world-level primordial bloodline, indeed considered outstanding. But to become a lord is still far from enough. Yuan sighed internally. Comprehending 43 types of world-level primordial bloodline, historically, only 5 fusion Dao cultivators have managed such. Before the emergence of Starlight Lord, the world-level primordial bloodline in the land of origin was only a small fraction of what it is now. Luo Feng's performance indeed shows little hope of becoming a lord. Time flows silently like a river. Another 3 billion epochs spent. I've examined all the materials from the 31 ancestors' corpses. Luo Feng looked at the vast void within the quiet room, where 31 sprawling secret pattern figures surfaced, all rather disordered. After all, lacking complete bloodlines and life cores, these secret pattern images were already integrated with the land of origin's help. 3 billion epochs. Luo Feng could feel that in the mind consciousness system, physical body system, and other 5 major systems, his accumulation was indeed deeper, but none had undergone qualitative change. The intriguing secret patterns within these deceased ancestors have no clearly defined core, they are all too scattered. Luo Feng lightly shook his head. If life secret patterns could dominate 50%, and destruction secret patterns 30%, the two could naturally serve as the absolute core, with other secret patterns merely assisting. The entire secret pattern map would be very aesthetic. Yet, in front of him, these 31 ancestors' secret patterns are generally scattered. Among them, the one deemed strongest, the red flame snake ancestor, has flame secret patterns occupying about 31%, life secret patterns 19%, space secret patterns 12%, time secret patterns 11%, material secret patterns 9%. From the secret patterns within its body, it's evident that the proportion of each secret pattern is not high. The scattered secret pattern proportions are typical among the deceased 31 ancestors. Based on my experience with low-level primordial, high-level primordial, and world-level primordial, the higher the proportion of the same secret pattern, the stronger the power at the same level. Luo Feng had discovered this earlier. Whether it's at the high-level primordial level, like Heavenly Fire Shadow, Ghost Prison Disaster Beast, Nine-Headed Chaos Beast, etc. Or at the world-level primordial level like Star Sea Demon Lord, Life and Death Pupil Beast, etc., it's all the same. The lords are also the same. For example, Starlight Lord comprehended primordial spacetime path. As for the Golden Lord, he comprehended primordial destruction path. Fusion Dao is essentially a Dao too. Luo Feng understood this point. Like himself, the Life and Death Dao is a Dao. All the lords comprehended a Dao at the primordial level. The lords are very focused. Whereas these ancestors explore bloodline potentials, digging a bit here and a bit there, resulting in sparse mastery. They possess dozens of secret patterns within, skillfully combined to grasp the highest level power. Luo Feng gazed upon these secret patterns. It's coincidental. Luo Feng considered these 31 secret patterns, processed and integrated by the land of origin, though differing from the real form of the 31 ancestors' primordial bloodline, they still estimated a similarity of 78%. Though very scattered, they can perfectly integrate, resembling a whole. Luo Feng observed. From this perspective, the threshold to become an ancestor level was indeed high. Land of origin. Luo Feng sat alone atop a tall building, gazing at the vast world. Master, it's rare for you to come out. Moroso attended to his master beside him. Now in the land of origin, he held significant authority, with the two ancient countries needing to look at Moroso's face. Moroso was truly the uncrowned king of the land of origin. However, Moroso preferred to serve his master. It's just that the master rarely appeared. Moroso. Luo Feng looked at him. You've managed the land of origin very well. Serving the master is my honor. Moroso replied, excited and proud. Luo Feng nodded, gazing upon the endless land. Yet the crisis comes from beyond. Once the innate primordial life camp invades the hinterland, the dark world group falls, creatures within the land of origin will have no ability to resist. This realm. Luo Feng's brow opened. The biomimetic destruction eye. The biomimetic destruction eye now is far more profound than before. Coupled with Luo Feng's immensely powerful spiritual will, he could glance at the entire source world with one eye, even seeing beyond the source world. My home source world. Under Luo Feng's biomimetic destruction eye, observed by his spiritual will, he could clearly see the traces of the rules. 9 DAOs are perfectly integrated, orderly, and smoothly operating, forming the operational rules of the entire source world. The origin of the source world. Here lies the source of the 9 DAOs, the core of the source world's operational rules, also the source of the source world's power. If the origin remains intact, even if the source world is destroyed, it can be reborn anew. Once the origin is lost, the source world is completely gone. What most attracts the innate primordial life is the origin of the source world. It possesses infinite wonders. World-level primordial consuming it might find a glimmering hope of breaking through to ancestor level. Origin. Luo Feng slightly furrowed his brows. The perfect integration of 9 DAOs forms the origin. Having researched the materials of 31 ancestors for billions of epochs, considering them for so long had deeply ingrained his understanding, now the secret pattern map of these 31 ancestor materials surfaced in his mind. Seemingly scattered combinations of various DAO secret patterns forming an entire. Compounded with the integration of 9 DAOs forming the origin. Boom. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. He saw it. He saw the true reason for the source world's strength. He also saw why each of those ancestors could become an ancestor. I understand. Luo Feng gently murmured. He finally saw it. Amidst layers of fog, he finally saw it. He saw the road of break laws with force. The road is already under his feet. What has the master understood? Moroso, who was attending nearby, couldn't help but feel confused upon hearing the master's soft murmur. Moroso could also see that the master was immersed in a state of enlightenment, so he dared not disturb him. He carefully guarded the area, strictly prohibiting any other creatures from approaching, in order to prevent affecting the master's current state. Luo Feng's biomimetic destruction, at the center of his brow observed the source world origin. In his mind, the secret pattern map of the 31 ancestral corpses materials emerged for comparison. No wonder once a world-level primordial life controls the source world, they, relying on the source world, aren't least bit afraid of a primordial ancestor in a one-on-one situation. Because the source world and the primordial ancestor are fundamentally entities of the same level. Luo Feng understood. The usual source world is like a massive physical body without a soul. Once it has a master, it gains a soul. In a one-on-one, even a primordial ancestor can't handle it. I finally understand why all innate primordial lives possess a life core. Even those at the ancestor level also have a life core, Luo Feng thought. For innate primordial lives, everything else can be discarded, but the life core is most crucial. Once the life core shatters, it signifies complete annihilation. I previously believed the life core to be a huge weakness of innate primordial life, an imperfection in their natural creation. Luo Feng had thought this for a long time. Cultivators, they seek enlightenment on their own. No life core, no such huge weakness. Innate primordial life, its life core is its weak point. Some ancestors have fallen, all due to the vulnerability of the life core. The life core is the reason for their limitless potential. Luo Feng realized at this moment. The life core is also another form of origin. These innate primordial lives are born possessing the origin. Luo Feng also understood why bloodline path cultivators need certain special resources. Cultivators need to refine high-level primordial bloodline to become high-level primordial life. To become world-level primordial life, they need to refine world-level primordial bloodline. But as for those innate primordial lives, it is hard for them to acquire higher-level bloodlines. It is quite an achievement to be granted a drop of blood by a higher existence. Even if they don't acquire high-end bloodline, just by eating and living, some innate primordial lives grow naturally. Some even grow into ancestors, just by consuming source world origin. Cultivators on the bloodline path value the primordial bloodline the most and have researched many methods to extract the primordial bloodline. However, they cannot extract a complete bloodline at the ancestor level. But for innate primordial life, their core isn't their bloodline, it's their life core. The growth of the life core leads to the growth of life. Every step in the growth of the life core triggers the evolution of the bloodline. So, the strength of early stage divine emperor, middle stage divine emperor, the manifestation of the primordial bloodline differs accordingly. Luo Feng fully understood. The life core is fundamental. The bloodline is merely the external manifestation of the life level. Cultivators cannot truly utilize the life core. They can only extract and utilize the externally manifested, primordial bloodline. Luo Feng sighed slightly. Innate primordial lives are truly the darlings of infinite primordial space. Born with a life core, and under various opportunities, the life core grows continuously. It can grow to a level comparable to the source world origin. Reaching this level means achieving ancestor level existence. This is the mystery of the highest level of life. Ancestor level life forms and the source world both have an origin, and a lord should have an origin too. For the first two, their origin is materialized. As for the lords, their origin is the primordial level Tao. If the Tao does not perish, they do not perish, so every lord is immortal. Luo Feng understood the difference between the two. The ancestor's origin is the life core, which has clear weaknesses. The Lord's origin is the Tao. Invisible, untouchable, undying, and immortal. Lords also have weaknesses. Luo Feng had learned some information, understanding the difference between primordial ancestors and cultivator lords. Primordial ancestors generally have large physiques, while the lords, their physiques are generally smaller. Of course, this is an average standard. Ancestor-level physical bodies are generally much larger than lord-level physical bodies. The life core is a material existence. It can endlessly accumulate power, supporting a sufficiently massive physical body. Lords, without a materialized origin, have limited power storage within themselves, and generally have smaller physiques. If given a choice, Luo Feng believes those ancestors would prefer smaller sizes, without the vulnerability of the life core, truly becoming undying and immortal. My life and death Tao primarily focuses on life, with destruction as a supplement. Now, I have glimpsed the mystery of the highest level of life. If I fully comprehend its essence, I can completely construct billions of origins within me. For those ancestors, their life cores are innate. If Luo Feng comprehends the Tao within, understands the essence, he can create origins postnatally. Just like opening countless heavenly spaces within his body, the same principle can be used to open billions of origins. On one hand, I need to eliminate the vulnerability of origin. Even if I lose thousands of origins, the impact on me remains low. On the other hand, I need to leverage the advantages of origin, for billions of origins can accumulate incomparably vast energy, enabling me to have an immensely powerful physical body. Both want, both demand. Only the Tao that understands the essence of life can achieve this step. If there is a Lord who can realize the primordial life Tao, his body will also be the most immense, most vital, and hardest to destroy existence in the entire infinite primordial space. Luo Feng's primordial life and death Tao, after all, focuses on life, and his path more reflects the characteristics of the life direction, with the destruction direction being relatively weaker. Land of origin, atop the mountains of Primordial Island, inside the quiet room of the cave mansion. An endless gigantic secret pattern map of 31 ancestor-level materials floated in suspension. Luo Feng's eye of life and death opened on his forehead, observing carefully. I see the path. But the path requires me to walk it myself. Only by walking to the end can I grasp the Tao within. Luo Feng is well aware of how difficult it is to remove the critical weak points of the origin, while taking advantage of the endless energy storage of the origin, but this direction is what he has always pursued. What seems like scattered secret patterns is actually unified. Even if the other 7 lords were to look, it would be difficult to see how dozens of different Tao's mysteries form the origin. Specialize in one's field. The current 7 lords, whether it's the destruction path, the thunder path, or the fluctuation path, none are proficient in life, and origin is the highest level of life's mystery. Without sufficient accumulation in this aspect, without terrifying comprehension in this area, it's fundamentally impossible to see this path. Luo Feng realized the foundation of the half-primordial life and death Tao, also comprehending over 50 million low-level primordial bloodlines, more than 320,000 high-level primordial bloodlines, and researched over 2,000 world-level primordial bloodlines along with materials from 31 ancestor corpses, accumulating deep enough. Relying on his strong comprehension, he finally glimpsed this path. Discovering this path, Luo Feng then had the possibility of becoming a lord. No wonder any ancestor, the mystique of life within them is at least 10%, because the mystery formed by the life core mainly relies on life's mystery. Luo Feng also rejoiced. With life path as the main direction, there's hope to explore the mystery of the origin. If destruction were the main focus, the difficulty of breaking laws with force might significantly increase. Breaking laws with force also requires luck. Luo Feng thought. For him, realizing half primordial life and death Tao didn't feel too difficult. Though he encountered some bottlenecks, he only took less than 10,000 eras to succeed. However, to break laws with force, merely glimpsing the path, Luo Feng felt a sense of needing luck. My future primordial life and death Tao, besides the existing mind consciousness system, life system, destruction system, primordial force system, and physical body system, has a 6th system, the origin system. The origin system is even more central. Luo Feng devotedly comprehended the secret patterns of materials from these 31 ancestor corpses, researching how the origin integrates and forms. After all, his future self will combine the wonders of life and destruction. And these ancestors combined numerous mysteries of the Tao. He cannot imitate, but must understand its essence. The same thing, observed from different angles, yields different insights. Luo Feng now, observing from the perspective of the origin system, gained new understanding of the secret patterns of these 31 ancestor-level materials. His origin system seems like a seed, drawing nutrients from these 31 ancestors, starting to grow robustly. This time Luo Feng spent even longer. Meticulous comprehension. Again and again. Luo Feng carefully considered materials from different ancestors, pondering deeply. He forgot time, only feeling his accumulations in all aspects rising, and the origin system gradually taking shape. Almost there. Suddenly, one day, Luo Feng stopped. He had studied the various materials from these 31 ancestors so many times, and was too familiar already. My 6 systems of primordial life and death Tao have deep accumulations. Although Luo Feng had not yet created the primordial life and death Tao, these 6 systems naturally integrated in his mind. He even had a vague outline of the primordial life and death Tao in his heart. These primordial bloodlines. I have comprehended low-level and high-level primordial bloodlines. However, among the 2,729 world-level primordial bloodlines, I've only comprehended 43 types. I've studied ancestor-level materials for over 10 billion eras. Now let's see how much I can comprehend from the 2,729 world-level primordial bloodlines. Luo Feng retrieved one of the uncomprehended world-level primordial bloodlines and auxiliary materials. After less than a day of viewing. Interesting. With Luo Feng's current insight, upon examining world-level primordial bloodlines, he discovered a secret, and a smile appeared on his face. It turns out, at the world-level primordial stage, the secret pattern mystique within them has already begun forming the origin. However, the origin formed by their internal secret patterns is incomplete. For the ancestor level, the origin constituted by secret patterns is complete, comparable to the source world origin. The world-level secret patterns are actually forming the origin, but the incomplete origin is hard to detect. Only after Luo Feng accumulated sufficiently in the origin system could he discern this point. This video will end here.